Hey everybody, it's Cameron Kasky with Bulwark. We're going to be talking about the crazy Democratic primary in New York City. Leave a comment down below and let us know what you thought about the whole thing. The New York City Democratic primary is over, and the Muslim Socialist not only beat celebrity Andrew Cuomo, he beat the fucking shit out of celebrity Andrew Cuomo. I'm joined today by my friends Josh Rush and Younis to talk about it, and sort of reflect on what the fuck happened. Younis, when you were talking to other Muslims in New York City, at what point were you like, wait a second, this guy could actually maybe be the mayor?
Last night. It was last night. I had this sense of hope, but there was always that looming, especially because of the projection polls that were so heavily skewed to Cuomo. Nobody really would have guessed how badly Zoran beat Cuomo.
It was crazy. And it's not just how badly, because that was obviously such a shock. And I think everyone from the pundit class to sort of your average New Yorker was like, what the fuck? But also certain areas where he won and certain areas where even though he didn't win, he almost won. Like Cuomo only beating him in the extremely Jewish Upper West Side by 4 points, which is insane. But Josh, you're a Texas politics guy. You're out there in Texas where everything is bigger. Like, when did you see this guy for the first time?
I first saw him sort of at the start of the year when he did the halal cart video. And it was the slogan of like, make halal $8 again. I'm always looking for these Democratic candidates that are messaging on the economy and doing short form video in a way that works. And so he came on my radar, I think relatively early, especially for folks who don't live in the city. Obviously, like a big fan, wearing my Absolute Bagels hat today, because it's Zoran's favorite bagel shop in the city as well. He has this like infectious energy that I think everyone by the end of this race has now seen and really appreciated. But it was obviously something that was cool and interesting, even back when he was polling right at like 1%.
Yeah, and you're a big like progressives and moderates working together guy. It's something we talked about on an earlier Bulwark video, and I'm kind of expecting him to do the AOC thing where she was posting up with Biden to get stuff done. Do you see Zoran being able to do stuff with the sort of more moderate people in New York politics, or do you think he'll either not be down or they will just not be down to even entertain him?
Well, we got to make it past the general election. But you know, in a world in which he wins this general election, which I think is a lot easier now, I hope that he works with. He's got to get his policies and his agenda through I think it's a 51 member city council that they've got here in New York, and then a lot of his policies will require help from the state assembly and state senate, the legislature that he is currently a member of. So I hope that he has got those relationships and that experience that he's going to need in order to like get his policies done. Because I think that that's going to be the really important thing for him now, and for this race as kind of a lodestar for progressivism and for democratic socialism in this country. Like, we have got to make sure that this race is a Michelle Wu model, not a Brandon Johnson model, and that's what I'm most excited to see, sort of as he, when he gets in office, and what happens with his policy proposals.
Yeah, Brandon Johnson. I didn't know that much about him until we did our interview with Zoran for Bulwark, and his shit is pretty tough, and
it's bad.
Michelle Wu's shit seems pretty good. Before we start watching some videos about this, Younis, Zoran came on the main podcast for Bulwark and told me and my co-host Tim that cigarettes are permissible and are not technically haram. And there were some people in my comments on TikTok saying that he was full of shit. What's your take?
God, listen, I know more Muslims that smoke cigarettes than that don't smoke cigarettes. Whether it's permissible or not, it's happening. So,
listen, I almost went like beep, beep, beep. And I was hoping Tim was going to ask me, what are you doing? And I was going to be like, that's my haramometer. Because cigarettes are bad for your body and you're hurting your body. But listen, like, I don't want to piss off the fucking uncles by saying that. That being said, speaking of uncles, sorry, when I think uncles, I feel like creepy uncles have kind of ruined the concept of uncles, many of whom are so great.
Many of whom that ran for mayor, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I was going to say, let's watch New York's very, very own creepy uncle, Andrew Cuomo's very classy concession speech that wasn't the shit show I thought it would be.
The issues that we discussed. But tonight was not our night. Tonight was Assemblyman Mamdani's night, and he
kind of almost said it right.
Campaign, and he touched young people and inspired them and moved them and got them to come out and vote. And he really ran a highly impactful campaign. I called him, I congratulated him, I applaud him sincerely for his
We just talk about how amateur this setup looks.
Oh, they're giving him a round of applause.
Final backdrop that he has, and the like weird curtains. This is amateur hour. This is the biggest city in America. Your advance should be better than you should look better than this as a campaign.
It feels so mundane in there.
Yeah.
Do you think someone at his campaign, whoever wrote that statement for him, unless he just kind of did it off the cuff, I don't know, he's got a lot of experience. Do you think that it was they said he touched young people on purpose? Do you think that was just sort of like a jab?
I just feel like it's in his nature to say something along those lines. So
that's definitely
flipped out.
What did he say when he was credibly accused of sexual assault? I'm just Italian. It just happens
just
that
Italian.
way.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure the accusations of misconduct came from people of a sort of wider age gap. So I guess young people are not necessarily the only thing in Cuomo's purview. But I want to bring up another speech from Andrew Cuomo that I also think is very impactful for New Yorkers and really speaks to the ethos of our former governor. Let's take a look.
As a New Yorker, I am a Muslim. Yes. As a New Yorker, I am Jewish. As a New Yorker,
Brother
I am
Cuomo.
Black. I am gay. I am disabled. I am a woman seeking to control her health and her choices. Because as a New Yorker, we are one community.
First of all, assalamu alaikum, Brother Cuomo. Welcome.
Shabbat, Brother Cuomo.
Andrew.
Yeah, Shabbat Shalom.
Cuomo. That was a very impactful speech. I would also say that since Andrew Cuomo is a Muslim and was running for mayor of New York City, it's worth taking a look at another Muslim who ran for mayor of New York City. Let's really quick, Dante, if you could pull up Zohran's victory dunk speech.
We have won because New Yorkers have stood up for a city they can afford. A city where they can do more than just struggle. One where those who toil in the night can enjoy the fruits of their labor in the day. Where hard work is repaid with a stable life. Where 8 hours on the factory floor or behind the wheel of a cab is enough to pay the mortgage. It is enough to keep the lights on. It is enough to send your kid to school. Where rent-stabilized apartments are actually stabilized. Where buses are fast and free. Where childcare doesn't cost more than CUNY. And where public safety keeps us truly safe. And it's where the mayor will use their power to reject Donald Trump's fascism.
That's my goat.
To stop mass ICE agents from deporting our
I feel like it was
neighbors.
kind of left out of the campaign news cycle that Cuomo's campaign was like funded by ICE.
Party.
And that like Cuomo's campaign backers were people who are part of the like actually profiting directly off of ICE deportations industrial complex.
That's what I wanted to talk about because like what's it called? Cuomo said he called Mamdani to congratulate him. And like even at this, after he conceded in this speech, that had to hurt Cuomo's heart because his campaign wasn't just a normal campaign. It was the antithesis to Zoran. It was speaking ill of Zoran. It was funded by people just to keep Zoran, specifically him, out of office.
And that brings to mind sort of my final question for this video, which is like, is Cuomo going to run as an independent? Because if he wants to keep Zoran out so badly, he ought to not run as an independent, because, the best shot the moderate sort of like Democratic establishment has at fending off Mamdani is Eric Adams being able to coalesce enough Republicans and sort of moderate voter types in the general election when it's Mamdani versus Adams. Adams sort of making an appeal to New York City Republicans, not that's that substantial a voter base. It means something, and saying like, hey, don't vote for the weird guy, Curtis, who wears the hat and everything. Vote for me. If Adams announces, it's the opinion of myself and plenty of people who I've seen talk about it, if Cuomo announces, he's basically locking in the victory for Zoran, because Cuomo and Adams would both be dependent on votes that would go to each other, right? I mean, Zoran did a lot better in working class Black areas than people expected him to, but still, Cuomo was the favorite candidate for working class Black voters, a group of people who love Eric Adams. So Cuomo and Adams, I feel, would just bleed each other of support that the two of them need. And Adams is on a warpath. There is no circumstance here where Adams steps down and says, you know what, my time is up. Let's watch Adams on Fox News this morning, having a little bit of a conniption with the Republicans who he's been friends with for a while.
Oh, gosh.
Mr. Mayor, it's not just defund the police. This candidate, Democratic Socialist, he wants to freeze the rent. He wants city-run grocery stores, social workers to replace the police, because that's going to help. He wants $60 billion of debt fund for affordable housing. He wants free buses, no cost for childcare,
This sounds
baby
great.
baskets for newborns,
Who's this
and
guy?
a
Can I vote for this guy?
$30 minimum wage.
Oh, my God.
How can someone vote for this?
I don't
How
like
can
that.
someone vote for free?
He's a
How could you
snake
do that?
oil salesman. He will say and do
I hadn't even
anything
seen
to
the
get
baby
elected.
baskets to newborns
Think
thing.
about this for a moment. He wants to raise 1%. He wants to raise tax on 1% of New Yorkers' high-income earners. As the mayor, you don't have the authority to do that.
Correct.
You know who has the authority to do that? An assemblyman, which he is. He wants to do free buses. He could have done it at assemblyman. He doesn't understand the power of government and how you must making sure you improve your economy, raise the standard of living, and this is what we've done in the
What does
city.
Eric
And I'm
Adams
looking
know about
forward
doing
to
either of
being on the
those things?
campaign trail and showing New Yorkers we can't go
like his
backwards.
tie.
And New Yorkers never surrender or quit. I'm never going to
Purple
quit
tie,
for the
very
city that I
symbolic.
love.
That is so interesting. You're in the position, so you know you don't have the authority to do that. Yet he's running on all these promises he's not going to be able to fulfill. And
This is, why I rock with Eric Adams? It's because he's delusional. He's very delusional. It's like when he's at the Sands of Persia, hookah lounge in Astoria, Queens, smoking hookah at night instead of doing what he should be doing as mayor. I just can't take him seriously whatsoever.
But you got to hand it to him. That's fucking hilarious. Like you telling me you wouldn't want to go to a hookah bar with Eric Adams and watch Sands of Persia women like fucking belly dancing?
I absolutely want Eric Adams in the blunt rotation, I think. As far as like historical New York City mayors, he's definitely in there.
I can't do anything because I got rid of weed and drinking and nicotine, but I don't think I need any sort of intoxicating substances to feel like I'm having a fucking bender with Eric Adams. And I think Eric Adams has taken the place of MAGA type with whom I would want to hang out, because I think, 2022 Trump, even post January 6th, is somebody that you would want to, go to a hookah lounge with or smoke a blunt with and just hear. But now this new like ultra fascist Trump, I think that he has lost his would be a fun hang element. And it's like, even though he was obviously evil before he even ran in 2015, he still would have been a good hang. Eric Adams, there's a fucking good hang right there. Everyone I know who's met him has said that he's affable and he's funny and he's charismatic. But I guess last question for you guys is, do you see a path to victory for, let's say Cuomo doesn't run. Let's say Cuomo knows that him running would be
I don't think he'll run.
You don't think so?
I think he has a lot of pride and he can't lose twice. That'll kill him.
I mean,
to.
what he said in his concession speech certainly doesn't indicate it, and it doesn't feel like he can earn those voters that he and Eric Adams, to your point, are going to be competing with. The other thing is there really that strong of a path to victory for Eric Adams? I just pulled this up, but this is a Quinnipiac poll. Mayor Adams' job approval rating drops to all-time low of 20%. 56% of voters say he should resign from office. That was March 5th. That was not a long time ago. Are folks that scared of Zohran Mamdani that they are going to run back to the devil that they know?
Yeah, and I think that what we learned from this primary is also that, like, a lot of the people that were expected to effectively get fear-mongered against Mamdani, it just didn't work.
Right.
Like, he would not have won the way that he won without a lot of Jews in New York voting for him. And I think there was sort of this understanding basically up until like 10 p.m. last night that he was basically just effectively going to get like 20 Jewish votes in New York. And then it's like, no, he's 4 points away from winning the Upper West Side where fucking Zabar's is. So anyway, I'm excited to follow Adams versus Zohran because with Zohran, you've got one of the most charismatic politicians since Barack Obama across the board in the United States of America, bar none. Even the Mamdani haters, even the people who think this guy fucking sucks, recognize that he is like generationally charming. And then you've
Even
got
Cuomo said that.
Cuomo said it. You know, people at Bulwark who are super anti-Mamdani went out and they were like, listen, this is a guy who knows how to inspire people and he knows how to coalesce support and you know, inspire hope in a way that Andrew Cuomo was trying to cultivate fear. But you've got Zohran, one of the most charming people in American politics. And then you've got Eric Adams, one of the most hilarious people in American politics. And the thought of a debate between Zohran, the socialist Muslim charmer, Adams, the maniac who vapes with dancers, and Curtis Sliwa, the weirdest guy in New York City. This is going to be a hoot. And I'm glad that my political commentary era is during this race instead of, I don't know, it would have been fun to do Adams Yang too. First of all, thank you both for joining. Everyone, don't count out Andrew Yang. If he announces as an independent, the Yang Gang might come back with...
If you're in line to vote for Andrew Yang for mayor of New York City, stay in line.
Thank you both, and everybody in New York City. Prepare for the most entertaining election, maybe of our lifetimes. With the Bulwark, I'm Cameron. These are my friends, and you'll be hearing from us soon.